Okay, perfect. All righty. Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the First Year Innovation Fellowship Info Session for the Fall 2026 cohort. My name is Zoe Marsiglia, and I'm the Program Marketing Specialist, and I work closely with Nana, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Nana. I'm one of the program directors here at Innovate BU. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Nana. Nana and I work closely together to run the First Year Innovation Fellowship program, so we're excited that you all are able to join us today. We'll be talking a little bit about what we do here at Innovate, of course, what the program is all about. We'll have some examples, what some of FYIFers have done in the past, and of course, opportunities to ask questions as well. We'll have opportunities to ask questions later, but if something you're like, I really want to know, feel free to use I think there's a raise hand feature on Zoom, or just wait for when we ask for questions, whatever's easier. If I don't get to you, just, maybe spam it a couple times. But we are excited to share more with you today. All right, it is working. All right, lovely. So Innovate at BU is a university-wide initiative that empowers all BU Terriers to become drivers of innovation in their own lives, careers, and communities. This is our mission statement here at Innovate at BU, and we start with this because I think a lot of people, when they think of innovation or entrepreneurship, they think, oh, maybe that's not for me. I'm not a business student. I'm not an engineer. I'm not whatever they might think a entrepreneur is. But here at Innovate, we believe that innovation entrepreneurship is truly for everyone, whether you are planning to start your own business, nonprofit, or you just want to create impact in your community. Innovation makes us ready for the careers you might have after university, and of course, make sure that we are ready for whatever problem solving or skills or industry you might go into after as well. We help all students pursue their passions, create positive impact, build entrepreneurial skills, and of course, like I mentioned, develop their career. And of course, we serve all students. So that means undergraduate, graduate, PhD, even alumni up to 1 year after graduation. So by working with us here today, maybe even joining FYIF, that is starting your journey with us from day one, and you have lots to go even after. But it's a great way to keep in mind. So whether or not you join this program or a later one, you have lots of opportunities to work with us. Everything you create is also yours. We take no equity in any funding you receive. This is important to note because if you do start a business, a venture, nonprofit, etc., with us, and no matter what program or competition you compete in here at BU or beyond, everything goes to you. This is a perk of working with a university innovation center. Massachusetts is pretty unique in having a lot of resources for entrepreneurs, but because we're university centered, it goes all directly to you, whereas other centers might take some funding later. We are your home for innovation entrepreneurship at Boston University. There are many amazing departments here at BU, and many of them might work entrepreneurial or innovative related industries. For example, Spark or Epic that focus more on engineering or computer science related things. But we are truly the center of it. Here, you'll work with students that come from all backgrounds at Boston University, all majors and all colleges. You'll certainly meet someone from every college here at BU. And we'll also work with other centers as well. So often students will work with multiple to use all of our resources. And often if students come looking for a particular one, we can point them in the right direction as well. But we are certainly the umbrella of everything that you can get here at BU. We are located at 730 Com Ave, right across the street from Marsh Chapel. So when you all get to campus, if you're not here already, be sure to look out for us. You definitely can't miss us. We have lots of opportunities to engage whether or not you join a program. We have meeting rooms that you can book, that you can meet with team members. You can get homework done. We have a co-working space, which is a nice, bright, open area, which is a nice alternative from the library. I'm a BU alum myself, so it was nice to have a different option when the library got a little busy during the exam season. So definitely something you want to keep in your back pocket, regardless if you join FYIF. And event space reservation as well. So students who might be wanting to host an event here for their student club or organization, or just want to participate in a new way to test an idea, that's something you can explore with us. We're open pretty generously throughout the week, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sundays, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. as well. So again, keep those in mind, especially when exam season gets in full swing. Now we have a small but mighty team, but each of us have a different experiences and throughout the industry, and you can leverage those experiences in office hours. Again, this is open to all students, so you don't have to be part of any of our programs to participate in these. As I'll mention later, when you start thinking about actually applying, all of these office hours are located in the Innovative Insiders app. Again, I'll mention it again later, but this is something that you can leverage, and you can often work with our amazing mentors and staff here to get your ideas off the ground. Now I'll pass it over to Nana to talk more about the First Innovation Fellowship.
Okay, thank you, Zoe. Zoe's going to go over later on kind of what the application looks like, but I'm going to cover what you should be expecting from the program, and Zoe will chime in and jump in if I forget anything. Um, but the First Year Innovation Fellowship Program is, I would say, a unique program here at Innovate, or I would say across campus. There are not that many programs, I would say, like across campus dedicated to first year students. And really, the goal or intent of this program was we found out that there were lots of students coming to us at some point in their 4 years here at BU if they decided to stay and do a graduate program, longer. But students will find us kind of closer to their end of their journey, and they would say like, "Oh, I wish I learned about the center. Like I wish I knew that there was a space on campus where I could take my ideas and work on them and see if I could bring it to life." Um, and so really the first year innovation fellowship program is our way of trying to, solve that problem in some way, right? To make sure that first year students, as soon as they get to get on campus, get to learn about the work that we're doing in hopes that hopefully you start to work with us, you hopefully are inspired to continue working on a project or a venture, and then you can work on it, right? Your entire 4 years here while you're a BU. And so really that's what this program was designed to do. And so, in the past we've run this program as a year-long program, and last year we turned it into a semester-based model. So it allows us to get more fellows into the program. It allows us to hopefully provide more resources along the way. And to give you kind of that early start, but then also give you an opportunity to join other programs that we have here at Innovate. And so in summary, what we do now is it's a semester-long program, and our goal is to help you take an idea that you have already, or if you don't have an idea, that's totally fine. Help you develop an idea of something that you want to work on. And like Zoe mentioned, with all the kind of different things that our students do here, it could be a project, it could be a venture, it could be nonprofit, for profit, whatever it is. We're hoping to help you in the semester think about what it takes to bring that into reality. And so you'll get access to coaching and things like that, which I'll talk about later. Um, and we like to share the slide to kind of position, like for you to think about if it's a good fit for you to apply. Because yes, we are going to review applications, and yes, we are going to select the cohort, but you also have to make a good decision for yourself, right? Like, is this a good fit of a program for me? And that's something that you're going to have to probably consider across your time here at BU. There's so many resources, so many programs, right? Zoe mentioned there are lots of other centers that are doing innovation, entrepreneurship type things. And so you're going to be probably asking yourself lots of times, like, so many options, what do I pick? And so we wanted to make sure that you're asking yourself the right questions to make sure this is a good fit for you before you apply first, right? And so we say for students that are kind of people that go into spaces where you see problems as opportunities, you're not afraid of like challenges or trying to push back on what quote unquote is supposed to be the status quo. This is probably a good program for you. We also tend to see that first year innovation fellows are people that are just passionate about solving problems. They've done it already, and they're able to talk about how they've done it in their lives, right? Whether it's in school or in your community or in your family. That's just a characteristic that they have, like that passion. And then a good fit if you are someone who really values diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think what's also really unique about FYIF is that we are putting together first year students that are across different schools at BU. And so, yes, we have engineering students. Yes, we'll have some business students, but we also have students that are studying art and students that are doing biochemistry. And so, like, the idea is that with the diversity that we have in the room that we're able to learn from one another. And so if you care about that, if you think that's something valuable, that's also something that is probably like a check off for you. Um, and then Zoe talk about the application later, so I won't get into too much of the deadline and things like that. We'll answer some questions about that. But if all these th three things check off for you, then I will say definitely apply. And that this program is designed for someone like you. So. I'll highlight other goals and perks. So Zoe already talked about things like space. I'll start with the perks first. So space. This is also a hub unit. So I don't think we mentioned this, but by changing, so we did two things in the change from taking this to a year-long program to a semester model. Yes, to get more students in, but we also wanted to figure out ways to give you more incentives to participate in this program. And so in the past, it's been all the things that you learn and the coaching experiences and the resources and the ecosystem and the money. But also this past year, we worked on getting this program into the hub, like the hub program here at BU. So what that means is by doing this program, taking this course, it's now called a course, you will receive a hub unit that counts as the creativity and innovation hub unit. And so you don't get like a grade or anything, but you can apply this to the hub units that you need to get by the end of your time here at BU. So that's another perk. You do get access to funding after the class or the course is over. And so you have to apply for it. It's a fund. And so it's not necessarily like a grant that you have to earn, but it's just you completed the program, you just tell us what you're going to use the money for, and then you get access to that. You get access to mentors and coaches and experts. And then we also have kind of community gatherings. So times away from just learning about entrepreneurship, but getting to know each other on different levels. And then goals, I talked about the either furthering an idea or helping you develop one, but also we're paying attention to skills in this program. So we know and studies show like successful leaders and entrepreneurs are people that really have mastered skills, right? And so it's one of the things that we pay attention to. And so we'll do lots of things where we're trying to build your innovative skills and entrepreneurial mindset in the program. So that's a goal of ours. And then helping we also want to connect you to resources here in the Boston ecosystem, but also across campus because BU has lots of resources. And so one of our goals is to do that with you. And then to build a community. So, one thing that Zoe and I, see all the time is that FYFers are leaving this program with like friends that they are with all the time. People make some of their best friends here when they get on campus in our program. And so building community is also really important to us. Okay, I'm going to briefly go over this because we're going to dive deeper in some of the other slides, but an overview of all the program components. So if someone wants to ask, like, what does this program entail? It really breaks down into these kind of four buckets. So 13 sessions, so we're meeting once a week. So 13 weekly sessions throughout the semester. You have to attend 3 events. You have to meet with a coach 3 times, and then you have to meet with Zoe and I 2 times. And so it really breaks down into these four. As long as you do these four bucket of things, you should be okay. And this is also a good opportunity, right, to go back and check and ask yourself, can I do these four bucket of things, right? Do I have the time? Do I have the capacity? Do I have the will to do this right now, this semester? But this is what we're asking of you, and the times are below. So our weekly sessions are 1 hour. Innovate events range, but the average is about an hour and a half. Coaching meetings, we ask you to meet with your coach about 45 minutes, and then meeting with us will be a 30-minute meeting.
Now, it sounds like a lot up front, but I promise this is something that many students before you have done. And we meet Tuesdays, so 3:30 to 4:45-ish. And we also have optional drop-in sessions after, so you can get started in any deliverables, work with your team members, or just kind of want to get things out of the way or ask questions. And we designed this program, especially when we talk about deliverables going forward, that is doable with you working as a full-time student. We understand that this is not the only thing that you have going on, but this is a commitment, and we expect that it's a mutually beneficial commitment.
Yeah. Thank you, Zoe. So for our weekly sessions, like Zoe mentioned, so they run from Tuesdays from 3:30 to 4:45. Really what our weekly sessions are, it's a one, like I would say a little bit over an hour, but like a 1 hour session where we dive into a topic, um, an entrepreneurship like topic or concept, and we think about application, like how do we take this principle or this framework and apply it to our ideas, the things that we want to pursue. And at the end of each session, so we mentioned this for deliverables, we give you what we call a deliverable, aka like a little bit of homework. It's not a ton, but it's something for you to work on till we meet the following week. And the goal really is so that you're like doing things, along the way. And it's not just like listening and hearing about the concepts of the things that you need to learn, but we're actually applying them in real time. And so by 3 o'clock the following Tuesday, we expect that that assignment is done and it's uploaded into Blackboard so we can access it for the next session. So we use a lot of the things that you're working on kind of in between the sessions, and we bring it back up in that session to build on top of it. Events. So, like I mentioned, you were asking you to attend 3 events. These events, or the purpose of asking you to do this to begin with, is that we are going to be a cohort. So there's going to be 20 of us, plus Zoe and I, spending every week together and getting to know each other and learn with each other. But there's so many other programs here at Innovate BU, lots of other programs across the university. And Boston is it's an amazing ecosystem for entrepreneurship, innovation. Like there's so many things happening, and also not just at our university, but like all of our neighboring universities, right? The MIT, the Harvard, the Northeasterns, right? Like they also have their own entrepreneurship centers. And so we collaborate on a few events together, but we also host our own events as well. And so we're asking you to go to events because we want you to meet other people outside of the cohort. We want you to learn about what other people are working on, especially student founders who are in their junior or senior year. Like, what have they done? What are they doing now, right? Do they plan to work on their venture full time after school or not? Like, and you don't do that by just staying in that cohort, right? And so we're asking you and pushing you to go to these events, meet people, talk to people, and come back and tell us what you learned. And so after you go to 3 events, it says innovate events, but you can go to our events, you can go to other people's events, as long as it's an entrepreneurship innovation type event. We're asking you to explore, right? And come back, and then we ask you to fill out like a 5-minute reflection form. So it doesn't take longer than 5 minutes. And in the reflection form, we're asking you, what event did you go to? Who did you talk to? What did you experience? What did you learn? And how could you bring that back into what you're working on? And so really people do it on their phones, literally when they're leaving the event. So it's really, really short. But we hope that through doing these, that you're able to build community with other people, and just get connected to external like entrepreneurs and experts in the ecosystem in Boston. So we'll ask you to do that. And then coaching meetings, we're asking you to complete 3 coaching meetings. So every fellow in our program is assigned a coach. The way that we assign coaches is we look at what you are interested in, right? You don't have to have an idea when you join the program. So when I say interested, I mean problem domain area, right? Like I'm passionate about sustainability, right? So like we'll take a student who's interested in that and we'll pair a student up with someone. Our coaches mostly are all founders, or are working in an innovative space within that field. And so they have lots of expertise about what it means to like build something from scratch. And so we'll pair you up based on that. If we can't pair you up exactly, we're pairing you up based off of the skills that we feel like you need or where you need the most support in terms of trying to build traction with your idea or the problem area. And we ask you to meet with them 45 minutes 3 times throughout the semester. And we've highlighted or outlined, I would say, in the syllabus what weeks you should be meeting with them. So, I don't remember at the top of my head, but it might be like week 4, you have to meet with your coach. And in that week, everybody must do a 45-minute meeting with their coach. And all we ask of you for these meetings is to come prepared, right? Like we want you to practice what it means to be a leader, a founder, and I feel like lots of FYIFers come in already as founders too, and that's great. but like practicing a lot of those professional skills are really important. So coming prepared with an agenda of like, what do you want to talk about, right? Like it's not the coach's venture, it's about you. And so you need to come in and say, like, here are the questions I have. Like, here's where I'm stuck. Here's where I need support, right? And so we encourage you, we give you lots of resources, templates, tools to create that meeting agenda, to go into that meeting feeling confident, and then to leave that meeting with a plan of like, what do I do now? What are my next steps? And so we hope that these meetings are helpful and actionable. But we ask you to give us at least a share with Zoe and I. We will ask you for your meeting agenda beforehand. We won't collect your notes. That's for you and your coach to, to have, but we just want to make sure that you're prepared. So we'll ask you to complete three, and we'll ask you for that agenda ahead of time.
Some students also really vibe with their coaches. You have to have obviously have the three that are mandatory. They are considered typically deliverables in that week and maybe something really small on the side. But
Mhm.
some students meet with their coach every week, sometimes every
Yep.
2 weeks. It's really can be up to you and your coach. It really just really depends on that relationship there. Some students have even taken the relationship with their coach after FYF when they continued working on their venture, nonprofit, etc. So those are
Mhm.
always options that you can discuss with your coach. But this is again, at least for the skill, the practice, and the experience of asking someone maybe for help, whether that's non RI or these incredible coaches, and of course, getting advice as well.
Mhm. Thank you, Zoe.
Mhm.
So mentor meetings are two meetings that you need to have with Zoe or I. Um, if for whatever reason Zoe and I, like something happens to Zoe and I, like you can meet with other staff, but Zoe and I lead the FYF program, and so we'll ask to meet with you. And really, all we're talking about and checking in about, we're not checking, like, again, you're not graded. So this is not an A, B, like, you don't have to come into these meetings scared. They're really just check-ins about, like, how are you feeling about the program? Like, is there any additional support that you need, right? And really all for us to get feedback about things that we can do better, right? As people that are leading this program. Um, and I would say like Zoe and I are very passionate about if we can change something, we are changing it, right? So we are not the type of, I would say, instructors that are going to wait until the next semester to implement the change that you want to see, because next semester you won't be here, you know? And so if there's things that we can do in our capacity with our resources, we will get it implemented. And so these check-ins are just to see like, could we implement anything to support you? Is everything going okay? How are you feeling? And what other support do you need also? Um, just on campus in general. Like if there are connections with people that we can make and help you with, if there are plans that you have for after the program that we could support you with, it's our opportunity to check in about those things and to provide that support for you. So we'll ask you to do one in the beginning and then one closer to the end of the program.
And of course, just like with the coaches, you can always meet with us more than that.
Hmm.
Obviously, we'll see you every week, but if you have something you want to talk about, you don't have to wait for that check-in.
Yeah,
Just come by. We are
yeah.
almost always in office. So come by, ask questions, send us an email, set up a meeting, or you can always chat with us after the sessions as well.
Hmm. Okay, so um, after kind of all of those components, those buckets that I explained, FYF ends off with this demo event day. This day is not our typical Tuesday meeting, so it typically happens on the Friday of the last week of classes. Um, Typically, that's I don't know but I think
Reading
it's
them.
called steady reading day, steady period day. Every school calls it a different day, but it's literally the day, like the day after the last day of classes, where like you get a little bit of a break to start studying for finals. And so no one should have classes on this day. Sometimes people might have like study sessions or things like that, but we usually typically have this event early in the morning, so you still have your afternoon and evening to study, to do study groups, things like that. And so we'll meet, and the first half of that morning is everyone's going to essentially pitch, share the thing that they worked on throughout the semester, to talk about the story of what they started off with and what they ended with, um, and where you plan to go after. We encourage you to invite family and friends if you're local. Um, and we also encourage you to invite like your roommate, whatever. We'll invite your coaches, any mentors that you worked with, and just other faculty in our ecosystem will invite to attend this. Um, but again, like no pressure. It's not super formal in that way. After we do the presentations, and then we will have a short celebration. So an hour where we eat some food together and hang out and exchange some gifts, things like that. And then that is it. In order to complete the course or the program, you have to, like, it's mandatory that you attend this and that you do your final pitch. So if you were to do everything else, if you attended all the sessions, did all your mentor meetings, your coaching meetings, went to all the events, but you failed to come to this last event, we will not be able to like give you the pass. And so I think the grading system for this as a hub co-curricular is like a pass or a withdrawal. And so we'll just have to give you a withdrawal. Again, it won't affect your GPA or anything like that. So, if emergencies happen, they happen. It's life. But we want to make sure that you know that we are expecting you to like do this final event. And we can explain more later. The pitches are 5 minutes, so they're like not long at all. But people just want to hear about the things that you've been working on. So that's what this gives us an opportunity to do. And this is like a final for the course. So,
Hey,
all right.
thank you so much, Nana.
Mhm.
So I'm going to talk about how you actually want to apply. You can find all of the information that we talked about today. Of course, I'll have this recorded, but also on the website as well. If you look up Innovate at BU, will be the first one that comes up, and you can find all the details for this on that program page. And when you get to that program page, if you look, see FYIF, you can read everything once more, and there'll be a button that says Apply Today. That button will take you to the website Innovative Insiders. You've registered for this event today, so you probably are already signed up, which means that you get to skip a step. Nice job. But when you're in that tab or in that website, you'll see these tabs on the top right-hand corner. Applications are where you're going to be wanting to look. You can, of course, spend time to explore everything else. This is where you'll see office hours. You'll see events on this page. You'll be the first to know if anything happens through this website. But applications, you'll see this first year innovation fellowship application portal, and you'll hit start application. And then you'll get taken to a really cool website called HireFlix, where you get to see my face, ask you questions. Pretend it's like an in-person interview, right? Obviously, you get the flexibility of doing it whenever you want. If you want to do it at 2 a.m., that's your prerogative, but I won't have to be up at 2 a.m. to do that with you. So that's the best part about it. But I will ask you 5 questions, and you'll have the opportunity to retake those questions. I believe it's up to 3 times. And each question you have about 2 minutes to share. I have a couple application tips for you after this, but the questions I'll be asking you are, who are you? How would others describe you? What is the problem you care about? What are you discontented with in our world? Tell us about a challenge that you have faced and share a time when something didn't go to plan. When has your perspective been challenged? How did it affect the way you see things today? And of course, why do you want to join FYF? And what is one strength you bring to the community and one area you hope to improve? Now, again, it sounds like a lot, right? You have the opportunity to retake it. And of course, take a breath each time. Sometimes you might take it just to hear the question, gather your thoughts, and be like, okay, I'm ready. Now let's do it again. So take advantage of that because that's definitely an opportunity you don't get in a real live interview, right? But I have a couple tips for you to make sure that you start off on the best foot. First and foremost, be yourself. I know, cheesy, but truly this application is for us to get to know you. This isn't your typical application. You're already at BU, you've made it, but we really want to get a sense of who you are and what your entrepreneurial spirit might look like. And that looks different for everyone. So, don't hold it back. Tell us what you're passionate about. What gets you excited? There's no perfect answer for anything. There's no certain criteria of, someone didn't quite hit this. I mean, obviously answer the question. That's the criteria. But truly being yourself is ultimately what will be most successful. Earlier rather than later, definitely apply. Application deadline as a whole is September 2nd, which is definitely approaching faster than you expect, especially when you start moving in orientation events. It will be here before you know it. But we do have an early application deadline, quote unquote, on the 25th. So if you get it in before then, you will hear earlier, so which is really nice. If you wait till the 2nd, you're going to have to wait at least another, probably about till the end of the week or so to hear more. So that's definitely pushing it right into the start of the first full week of classes, is which you get started on the 8th, I believe. So the earlier you apply, the earlier you know. Worst comes to worst, you get waitlisted into the next round, but all good. Third tip, of course, is tell us about a problem you're passionate about. Notice here I said problem and not solution. And no question that we asked, we're asking about solution. Even if you worked on something before, kind of put that to the side right now. What is the root of the problem that you actually want to solve? I don't want to hear about the app. I don't want to hear about the website or the venture you started. If you talk about it, I'm like, maybe I'll give you a pass, but it's truly about the problem. What gets you excited? And what makes you curious as well? And of course, make sure you answer the questions thoroughly, right? If I go back here, some of these questions have a two-parter, right? It's not an extensive A, B, C, D, E, but of course, definitely try to answer both parts. And also, it doesn't have to be 2 minutes. If you're able to answer the question in a minute or minute and a half, that's great. If you need the full 2 minutes, that's totally fine. But sometimes that conciseness can be a good balance there. So just try your best. And then, of course, there's also the spring cohort. So if you don't get into this fall cohort, the best part about the semester model is that the spring is right around the corner, and we've had students apply again and make it in. So that's a great opportunity there. So definitely don't miss out on that. And then, of course, if FYIF is not a good fit for you today, of course, like I mentioned, spring, or of course, we have other programs and events. Like I mentioned earlier, you don't have to be part of a program to engage with us. We have events like panels, we have competitions, we have lots of ways to engage, and we even work with student clubs as well who want to use our space, that are entrepreneurially innovative minded, and you can work with them as well. So definitely don't count yourself out if maybe this program just doesn't feel quite right, and maybe you want some more time to get accustomed to everything. But of course, be confident in yourself. There's a video on the Innovate website where one of our past students talked about how she didn't quite picture herself as an entrepreneur. And she wasn't sure about applying to this program, but she did it anyway. And she got in and really had a great time. So that could be you, right? I mean, pun not intended, but definitely, see what opportunities are here at Boston University and take advantage. Now I have a couple examples, but I want to give a moment to answer any questions. I see I have one in this chat. Anything else I can do with Innovate at BU, or if I may submit more to my application. So if you've already submitted an application video, I'd say that's it, right? Like, trust your gut that first time. If you really want to resubmit it, right? The application period hasn't closed, so you can email us and you can resubmit it, but you can't edit it, right? Once it's submitted, it's submitted. Gotten a couple emails of folks saying that they skipped past the last question before they were able to retake it. So just be a little bit, be careful there if you can. But as long as you're in the application window, we will consider it. If you're late, I'm sorry, then that's the end of that. But being here at the info session and learning is a great way to to put your best foot forward. Does anyone have any questions before I go into some more examples of what FYFers have done? Any questions? Yes. Question. Viarkas?
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I didn't figure out how to raise the hand, so I just emoted.
All good.
I had a question about three things, but it's the same question. So you talked about access to innovate space, connection to mentors and experts, and getting funding, right?
Yes.
So my question is, how is it and how is it exclusive to this program, and how does it compare to just being a member in my first year at Innovated BU?
Great question. So just by being a member at Innovate at BU, you can attend some, we have cool panels, like I mentioned. We have a lot of different things that you can check out throughout the year, even a cool conference down the road, but that definitely will come later. But you don't get access to an individual coach or mentor. Like that's definitely something that you would get as part of this program. We have a couple other programs as well that also take applications that will get you that, but that individual one-on-one experience is something that you can only be part of if you're part of any of our programs, and especially this one. Some other things like the seed grant, right? We gotta, you can't give money, get money just by being here, right? I mean, I wish we could, but that's also a great way that distinguishes what makes being part of this program versus just showing up to different events. That hub unit, of course, is really key as well. If taking a look at any of the hub units that you have to do in your course of 4 years, sometimes they can be a little difficult depending on what major you're in. I had a friend who was an art and film major, and it was really difficult for her to get the innovation hub unit or the scientific units 1 or 2. And so doing things like this to kind of really broaden your approach early is not only helpful in that way, but also it's just a great way to get different experiences. I think that's what they kind of aim for the hub unit, which some people definitely have some pros and cons in that, but that's definitely a pro in that aspect of the broad range. So a lot of those perks, again, is from these programs directly. Now, again, if you can't do it this fall semester or even spring semester, it does definitely not count you out of being an innovator here at BU. Of course, other programs that you can join and other centers as well, but this one specifically is definitely something that you want to consider.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. Hope that answered your question. Yes, Jose.
Oh, hello. I have a question about what you guys think is the ideal applicant. What you guys are looking for in the program? Is it someone that already has an experience with entrepreneurship, or is it someone that will start building right now? I just wanted to know more about what you guys are looking for in the application process.
Great question. It's definitely something we get every year. Now we've had students that have had experience maybe in their high school, but I certainly not everyone. And honestly, I think for me and Nana, definitely, I would love to hear what you think as well, but it's curiosity, openness to learn, passion as well. We want to hear what you're passionate about. That's what makes a cohort so unique, is that everyone has different passions and perspectives. So if you can express that and you can really show that you are someone who wants to learn from others and develop your own passions and curiosities further, then that's definitely an ideal applicant. Nana, what do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. I think that is probably the best answer. I think if you have an idea already, that is okay. It is our job to help you be introspective and to probably ask yourself if that idea is the right idea, right? And so like our job is that. And so we are not the program. If you are looking to join a program to just build, this is not the right program for you. We have, and I would say, and I'll speak for myself, I deeply believe that in order to build effective solutions to anything, to any problem, that you have to spend a ton of time understanding the problem. And so we don't rush to build here. We spend a lot of time trying to understand, is this the right problem? Who's experiencing the problem? Why does this problem exist to begin with? And so we're going to be asking ourselves a lot of complex questions. And for anyone that's interested in working on something that's social impact, that question is going to be much deeper, right? And so we have fellows sometimes at the end of the program, some who have a prototype of something. They're like, built a prototype, I have something, I feel really confident about this thing that I want to continue to develop. And then sometimes there are fellows who've spent their entire year, right? Even when we ran a yearly program, understanding the problem and recognizing this is way deeper than I thought. And the initial solution that I thought could be the solution doesn't even work. And that is also success, right? To get to that side and to know and to understand, right? Like what I came in here with is not the thing, but I know so much more about how complex this problem is. And to really our goal is to help you understand the process of what it means to build something from the ground up. And so that when you leave this program and you join other programs, or you leave this program and you go and do something else, that you know exactly how to start and how to do it. And so really I would say that's our goal. So I wouldn't say that you need to be like an ideal candidate is not someone that has an idea or doesn't, or all these things. But I think what Zoe touched on, this openness to learn, this space of curiosity, this yeah, just understanding that like even the things that you might come in with, your perspectives, your biases, all those things might be challenged, and your willingness and drive to want to experience that, which like at sometimes could be challenging and it sometimes could be rewarding. So I would say if you have that mindset, that's probably the ideal candidate for this program.
And the best part about Innovate as well is that, you're just because you're joining, maybe you want to join FYIF, you get in, that's lovely. But we also have those other programs, and we have students that do multiple programs at the same time. I think our title program, Innovation Pathway, is definitely geared more towards students who are ready to build right away. But even then, we ask you to take a step back and evaluate the problem opportunity that you're hoping to solve. Now, it's not as, semester long. The application certainly looks different. And if you're interested, I check that out. Send me an email. I'm also willing to talk to you about that later. But students can do both. Students who do FYF often gear up really ready for that program as well, because they don't have to reevaluate everything. You do that work with us. But it is not limited to, what stage you're at. So definitely everything that Anna said.
Mhm.
I'm seeing some questions in the chat here.
Mhm.
Limits on the type of project or topic we should be developing. There are no limits, right? I think with FYF and the fact that Innovate sits where we are in the university, we serve all students, all backgrounds, all majors, which means your idea can come from anywhere. It doesn't have to only be engineering or sustainability or whatever. We've seen ideas from consumer products to wellness to sports to fintech, healthcare, et cetera, anything you can think of. And I think that's what makes the coolest part about the cohort, is that you'll get a range of ideas of people you get to work with and build your idea alongside throughout the program as well.
Yeah, I think, and I guess I'll add like the only I would say limitation or restriction for ideas is we're going to ask you about if what you're trying to build is viable,
Yes.
right? And if it's ethical, right? And we spend a lot of time also talking about positionality. And so like does it make sense for you to build this thing? We all have lots of ideas. Like every day I probably have 10 ideas that come to my mind. But am I the right person to build this thing? And so I think those are the things that we are we build this container, right, around that for you all. Because we deeply believe that you should be the right person building the thing, that what you're building should be ethical, and that you have to build something that's viable, right? Like if it's not viable, you can't make it. If it's not going to work, then you can't build it. So I would say like those are the only limitations. But to Zoe's point around, like problem domains or the industries or the fields or whatever, it like there's no limits around that. And we also encourage students, like lots of students come in and they definitely want to work on ideas that are connected to their major. That's fine. But like your major is one part of your identity, and you probably have like 50 million things that you're passionate about. And so I always love when the engineering students come in here and they want to work on like a beauty brand or like a fashion brand. And it's like, like not obvious, or like an education company, which is like, you know, not obvious that they should be working on that because they're engineers, but it's like they also have a passion for that, and that's okay too. And so don't feel limited to working on a project or a topic just because of what you're majoring as well.
Yeah, definitely. Am I still able to do this if I have a class to attend Tuesdays during the meet time? So the workshop sessions, or well, I guess they're not called workshops anymore, but our sessions on Tuesdays are mandatory. 3:30 to 4:45 is what we have listed. So, the great thing is that classes haven't started. So, as my experience in undergrad, there's typically a lot of sections that you could choose from your other classes. So if you really want to do it in the fall, see if maybe you can move a couple things around in your schedule to make it work, right? We don't start even until the second full week. So the 8th is our first day. So, if you apply early, you hear back, you get good news, then maybe you can see if you can move things around. Worst case, you defer it to spring. If you really just can't make it move, there's only one section of this class you really want to do it this fall, totally get it. That's why it's so great that we have a spring cohort as well. So just make sure you keep that block open for when you are structuring your classes in that spring semester. Again, totally doable. We had a couple students who were accepted in the fall last year and just had to defer that acceptance to the spring. We make a couple exceptions here and there. So, but if you can't double dip, unfortunately. Tuesdays, you got to be there, just like any class. Is it only during the first year? Yes. So only freshman first year, fall or spring. Yes, fall and spring semester cohorts are available. So spring is great too, because CGS students, so students who are in London this upcoming fall, are also going to be able to join the spring semester. It's another great part of having a 2-semester cohort. Awesome. Any other questions before I go into some examples? Yes.
Yeah, I just have one more. Do you guys have any students who are doing this program and also participate in Rastic?
In Rastic?
Mhm.
Sure, yeah. We're neighbors with Rastic. So when you do come on campus next week, walk on by and we're literally like 2 feet away from them. I think we've definitely had students who worked with Epic, Spark. Rastic, of course, is a little bit newer, so I don't have as many examples off the top of my head. But it's certainly possible. Anything
Mhm.
is available here. Resources are at your fingertips here at BU, so we encourage you to take advantage of everything that you are interested here at, to prototype, to test, and to, of course, explore.
I'm asking because I've seen that on the website there were 2 students who did this program and they said they left their emails to reach out to them. I'm wondering if there's any place like that for people who are in this program and did Rastic. So, because I wanted to just like
Mm.
hear about their experiences before I decide if I want to join.
Sure. I mean, the student that comes to mind right now, he's just did a different program. He did one of summer programs. He was a bit further along, but I'm sure he'd be maybe more than happy to connect with you if he's interested. We also have students in our FYF, like the alumni of FYF, who are interested in being peer mentors. We also give their information to students in the program. So if you want to connect with them and say like, oh, I see you were my major and you had this my time here in FYF, or you experienced it last year or 2 years ago. Can I ask you some questions? Or how did you use this resource, or etc. That's definitely an option. We may not know everyone's experience.
Mhm.
Sometimes people went to FYF in the fall and then they went to Rastic or whatever it is. But if that's something you're specifically looking for, I'm sure we can help you find an example to reach out to.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
problem.
Can you would you mind shooting us an email after this so we could get you contacts for people you could reach out to?
Yeah, thank you very much.
No
Thank you.
problem. Awesome. All righty. All right. So, oh yes, it's 5:52, so we want to get a move on before 6. So if you have any other questions that didn't answer, of course, you're always more than welcome to send us an email. But I'm just going to get into a couple examples before we close out today.
There's one
Oh,
more question.
there's
Sorry
one
to
more.
interrupt you.
Okay, all good. Let's see.
So there's a question about when are decisions released for early application?
So let's see. So early application is the 25th. So just under a week from now. We are aiming to have the first round of decisions probably by the end of the week, tentatively. We get a good number of applications, and that takes time to review, especially if you consider 2 minutes per question, 5 questions each. And we have a couple others looking at it. So I'm trying to make sure we have a holistic view. So we're aiming for that end of that week, early next week at the latest. Worst comes worst, if you don't hear in that first round, you'll just be put into that next bucket with the regular decision as well. So to certainly, if you don't hear that first round, it doesn't mean you didn't get in. We will keep everyone updated. Okay. Any higher chance to get in if you apply earlier? I mean, you could argue fresh your eyes. There's an argument there. I think also we have only 20 spots, right? So we try to let the first round of people know. So when we have more spots, it's easier to let people in. But then when we start having to make tough decisions as the more applications come in, there's definitely been periods where it's like, oh, I think they'd be great, but unfortunately, we only have a couple spots left, and maybe what this person said here just put them over the edge just a little bit. Again, fortunately, there is spring, which is the best part about this, so don't get discouraged. But you could argue there's a little bit of an advantage to apply earlier. Yeah, I see a little sweat smile there. Yeah, so don't sweat too much, don't be worried. But definitely, we're excited that you're excited as well. Alrighty, so a couple of examples. This is Bren Brosnahan. He is in the CAS 2027. In FYIF, he started an early investment and budgeting platform called Sense to help alleviate financial stress for college students and early young adults. He was in 2023 FYIF Innovation Cohorts. And he also participated in a couple other programs as well. He's also an RA, I believe, in West. So if any of you are in West, you might see him. He made it all the way to the run stage. I'm not sure if he's still working on it. He took a leave of absence to do an internship at, I believe, a cool investment company this past year. So another perk about FYF is that a lot of people use that as experiences to get into opportunities later down the road. And he certainly did that here. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Megan Kwan is another example. If you started your application or if you're getting ready to, this is a face that will look familiar to you. Megan is also a student ambassador. So as you're exploring our resources here at Innovate, you have the opportunity to meet with students who can guide you through your journey through drop-in hours or just community events. But Megan started 4 artists in her time of FYF. If anyone's interested in art or has done art with friends, family, etc., you know how expensive art supplies can be. And because she is a CFA student, she's passionate about making sure that other students have the opportunity to access those art supplies. So thinking about zero waste, sustainability. She participated also in 2023 FYF. She was a semifinalist in BU Climate Innovation Challenge, and she recently participated in one of our summer programs called the Innovate Fellowship Cohort, where you can receive $10,000 to work on your idea for the summer. So something else you can keep in mind. And then again, this is just 3 examples that I have for you today, but there are plenty more. Our last example is Noah Soren Dory. He graduated, he was in Questrom 2024. He started I Dream of Real Impact to empower young kids to become environmental stewards through imaginative educational storytelling, plush toys, and other content as well. He's still active in this. If you look up Adori, he's doing a lot of work with elementary schools and libraries. So this is a really cool social impact venture here as well. Also a little sustainability, of course, focused. He was the first place winner in the 2025 New Venture competition, where we give out over $80,000 in funding. So something to look forward to. He was a hospitality innovation competition winner through, I believe, Shaw. And part of the 2020 First Innovation Fellowship, and made it all the way to the Fly Stage Innovation Pathway as well. So again, this is just a couple examples of students who started their idea in FYF and have continued, but is certainly by no means the last. And many students will start an idea, say, okay, maybe not this time, and start an idea later down the road with the skills that they learned in FYF. So our success metric, as Nana mentioned before, is not whether or not you take that venture all the way to beyond and market, but really do you learn the skills to be innovative, to have that mindset, and to enter into the crazy world that we have today as problem solvers and leaders. So hopefully this will be you. Definitely stay up to date. Our newsletter, I think if you registered for this event in Insiders, you are automatically registered for that. But of course, check out our websites, check out everything we have to offer. Whether or not you're part of FYF this fall, we would love to see you around our center. We have lots of things coming this fall, including the largest student innovation conference in the country, called IdeaCon in October. That's a great way to network with over 500 students and innovators from around New England and even beyond. So don't miss opportunities like that. Networking, connecting is something that we're really passionate about here. So whether or not you join our program, these are opportunities that will always be available to you throughout your time at BU. And of course, we look forward to seeing your application. Let us know if you have any further questions, but thank you all for joining us this evening. And good luck and have a good one, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Have a
Thank
good night.
you.
Bye.